What's up, Hoop Center? In today's video, I will be filling out the latest Joe Lunardi bracketology. Alright, here we go. First up, we got Southeast Missouri, SEMO, I know that, versus Duke. If you look at the analytics, I know that has nothing to do with what I'm picking. You gotta go with Duke. I mean, I'm not gonna be picking that 16/1 anyway. Next up, you got Mississippi State versus Baylor. I like Mississippi State this year. I don't really like Baylor. I don't think Baylor is a team that's going to win any games in the tournament. They're very inconsistent. Next up, Ole Miss, McNeese State. I got to go McNeese State. I think McNeese State has had such a pretty consistent year. Ole Miss has lost games, one game in the SEC. It is the SEC, so you never know, and they probably will. I just got to have an upset here, and I think it's going to be McNeese State. Next up, Michigan, Lipscomb. Give me Michigan. I don't really like Lipscomb this year. Michigan's had a pretty good, solid year, leading their conference right now, so give me Michigan. Next up, Maryland versus Texas. Texas just beat Kentucky. Give me Texas. Texas has had such a good year. I mean, not really a good year. I don't know why I said that. They're not having a good year. They've been very inconsistent, but I do think they'll get a win in March. Next up, Arizona, UC Greensboro. Give me Arizona, UNC Greensboro. Don't really know much about it. I know Arizona's had a great year, hence the 3 seed. They started the year off with a losing record, so I think just coming back from that is really shows how in a rhythm they are. I think they'll win. Next up, Louisville versus West Virginia. Louisville was winning 10 games in a row, lost to Georgia Tech. Back on track, winning 3 more games in a row. They have 20 wins, 6 losses, and in second place in the ACC. West Virginia, they were amazing. Another reason, Louisville beat West Virginia. That's why I'm going Louisville. But West Virginia's also had a really good year, beating Gonzaga. They beat Indiana. They just had a really good up and down. But they've been a really good year up for a while. They've been losing a few games in a row. That's why I'm having Louisville to win. Next up, Tennessee versus Towson. Gotta have Tennessee. I'm not gonna have a 15. Beat a 2. Next up, Duke, Mississippi State. Give me Duke. The ACC may not be amazing this year, but I think Duke will get an easy Sweet 16 nod. I think Mississippi State's a great team. I just don't think they can pull up the 8/1 upset. Next up, McNeese State versus Michigan. I got Michigan. Michigan's had, like I said, a great year, and I like to see this pretty weak 4 seed, but I like to see this 4 seed in the Sweet 16. Arizona, Texas. Give me Arizona. I think this has been pretty chalky with it, but I feel like this second round, this Sweet 16 is going to be chalk. Very chalky. I got Arizona going to the Sweet 16. I just don't think Texas, like I said, an inconsistent year. Don't think they can get out of the second round. Next up, Tennessee, Louisville. Give me Tennessee, mainly because they did beat Louisville in the second game of the year by like 20-plus points at Louisville, which was an away game for Tennessee. Give me the Tennessee Vols. Next up, Michigan, Duke. Gotta pick Duke. I think Duke's had an incredible year, and I think an Elite 8 appearance is just about what their expectation is on the year. Here's an upset. Tennessee, Arizona. I was high on Tennessee for a while until they've been losing a few games in a row, then they're back on winning games. I do think Arizona wins, even though it's not showing. Oh, there it is. Arizona wins. I just think, like I said, the consistency for Arizona has been huge. Next up, Duke, Arizona. Give me Arizona to go to the Final Four. I think they're due for it. I just don't think Duke. They're young. I don't think they have the roster to go to a Final Four. I think Arizona does. Next up, the next region, Florida, Norfolk State. That's a pretty easy one. You're not going to pick a 16 to beat a 1. Ohio State, UConn. I'm going to go UConn. I think Ohio State's a great team. I just don't think they can beat UConn. UConn has the experience. I think UConn's going to at least get to the second round this year. Next up, Memphis, Yale. I do have Memphis. I just think Memphis is a better overall team. This is the bad thing about this website. It takes forever to load. I think Memphis has done better this year. They've won some good games like Clemson. I just think that they'll beat Yale. I don't even like Yale in this conference. I'm having an upset. Give me Akron to beat Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin should not be a 3 seed. They've had wins against Purdue. I just don't think they can win. I think Akron's a deadly team coming out of the MAC. Next up, Georgia, UCLA. I got an upset. Georgia's been very inconsistent. but you gotta pick them. I don't really like UCLA this year anyway. Not a very good team, in my opinion. Next up, they're a 6 seed. Next up, Texas Tech, Utah Valley. That's pretty easy. Got to go Texas Tech in this game. I think Texas Tech a better team. I think Texas Tech could have a really good run to go very far in this. I'm liking the 3 seeds in this tournament. St. Mary's, Vandy. I don't really like any of these teams. I think Vandy's gonna win just because Vanderbilt. They've done them pretty good in the SEC, which is pretty hard to do. Next up, Texas A&M, Bryant. Not gonna pick the 15 to be the 2. Next up, UConn, Florida. I know UConn has the experience, but Florida has the talent. And Florida was in it last year. They may have lost in the first round, and they're out for revenge to go on a pretty good run. Memphis, Akron. I'm gonna go Akron. I don't think Memphis. I almost considered Memphis losing to Yale. That shows what my belief on Memphis is. Georgia, Texas Tech. Give me Texas Tech. Texas Tech is such a good team. I just can't argue. You can't argue with them. They've got that easy draw against Utah Valley and then Georgia or UCLA. I got Georgia here, though. That's an easy Sweet 16 appearance. Next up, Vandy, Texas A&M. Pretty easy one. Texas A&M goes with Bryant, then they got Vandy. That's another easy draw for Texas A&M to go to the easy Sweet 16 run. I think Florida goes on to the Elite 8 pretty easily because Akron pretty easy. Look at the Florida. 16 and 8 and a 13. That's an easy draw for Florida to the Elite 8. Next up, Texas Tech, who's had a pretty easy draw, but this is the first challenge of the game. Same with Texas A&M of the year. Of March, I think Texas A&M beats Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is analytically favored. I do like Texas A&M to go win this game, though. Florida, Texas A&M. I do have Texas A&M winning. I just think Texas is better. I know Florida beat Auburn. They beat Tennessee once. I think the A&M Aggies get it done to go to the Final Four. That's pretty easy. You're not gonna have a 16, especially that 16, to win. I like New Mexico. They should be in the top 25, and they aren't. Give me them to win. Next up, Marquette, UC San Diego. Actually going UC San Diego. I don't really like Marquette this year, so give me them to win. Michigan State beating High Point. I think that's pretty easy. I don't really like High Point. They're one of those teams where they're gonna get 13, and they're gonna get matched up against one of those teams. I don't know. Just don't think High Point's gonna win. Next up, San Diego State, Illinois. Give me Illinois. San Diego State has the experience, but Illinois does too. They were in the Elite 8 last year, and they're a more talented team. That's why I have them in that run. Gotta go Kentucky. Don't really think they should be in 3 seed. I think Jacksonville State has the capabilities to win. Just don't think it's gonna happen. Next up, Clemson, Nebraska. I don't really think Nebraska should be in the tournament. Give me the Clemson Tigers to knock off the Nebraska. Cornhuskers don't like Nebraska this year, really. Houston, Central Connecticut, not going to pick a 15. Not going to pick a 2 to be a 15. I actually considered that, though, which is going to show you why. I'm about to show one of my predictions about it. Got to pick Auburn to beat New Mexico. I think New Mexico's a top 25 team, and they're drawing. They didn't get a good draw. That's why they're going to lose to Auburn in the second round. Next up, UC San Diego, Michigan State. I don't think UC San Diego is a team that can go further than the second round. That's why I have them losing in the second round to Michigan State, who's going on a Sweet 16 run in Tom Izzo's final season. Next up, Illinois, Kentucky. I don't like Illinois this year. There's a 50-50 shot. I got Illinois pulling off the 6-3 upset to beat Kentucky. And then here's the upset. Give me the Clemson Tigers to beat Houston. I think Houston's been as consistent as can be. So has Clemson. And you got to pick. And they beat a 1 seed. Clemson beat a 1 seed. That should be higher overall worthy. So give me the Clemson Tigers. Auburn, Michigan State. Got to go Auburn to end Michigan State's run. Next up, a 6 versus a 7. I got Clemson to the Elite 8. I just think Illinois isn't capable of it. I think Clemson's got one easy win. That's why when they play Auburn, I think it'll be close. Give me the Auburn Tigers to win the region. Next up, the Midwest region and the final region. Like I said, not going to pick a 16. Excuse me. I don't like either of these teams here. I'll be honest. I think Oregon wins because they're in a better conference than Utah. Actually, no, Utah State. I think Utah State's in better. Just don't. That's why I have them winning. St. John's somehow a 5 seed. They should be way higher. They split the league, but who cares? They're good. They're amazing. But have them going far as heck. Next, St. John's run. Just see it coming. Kansas should not be this highly ranked just because their name's Kansas is why they're there. Give me Drake. Nope. Yeah, give me Drake. Pull off that upset just because Drake's I think a better team than Mizzou. Overall, I like Northern Colorado, but playing Iowa State, it's not going to happen. Creighton having a pretty good comeback year. Give me them to win, and then you got Purdue because Purdue's not going to lose to a 15 seed. Alabama not going to lose to Utah State. I think Utah State's good. I don't think they're that good. Give me an upset. Give me St. John's to go to the Sweet 16. I don't think Kansas is good at all. I think St. John's could win that pretty easily. Iowa State, they did lose to Kansas State. I think it's completely possible that they lose to Drake in an upset. Just don't think it's going to happen here. Give me Creighton. I know it's been twice that I've had that. I don't think Purdue's good at all this year. Give me Creighton to the Sweet 16. Give me the upset. I think St. John's is better than Alabama. Give me St. John's. Elite Eight. Iowa State, Creighton. Give me Iowa State. That's a pretty easy one. You got Iowa State versus St. John's. Give me St. John's. In this Final Four I'm setting up, there's a 3, a 2, a 1, and a 5. I think it's a very solid Final Four. You got Arizona versus Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M's a better team than Arizona. 50-50 shot at it. I think Texas A&M wins. The reason, Wade Taylor. I don't know. I think they're better. Next up, Auburn, St. John's. Oh, there's the game glitch. All right, Texas A&M, and I'll have St. John's. Texas A&M, St. John's. It's totally glitching out on me. All right, Texas A&M, St. John's. The winner of the national championship. The Texas A&M Aggies. I think Texas A&M is the best team in this tournament by far. Let's look at both of the championship teams. Runs they could have. St. John's start off pretty easy against that. That's not even easy. That's a hard game. I could even see them losing. Next up, Kansas versus St. John's. That's a pretty easy one. That's a hard. And then them playing Auburn, that's impossible level. So that was just down to us. Let's look at Texas A&M's run. Bryant, easy. Vandy, easy. I think Texas Tech's hard. Florida's hard. Arizona's hard. St. John's is hard. I think Texas A&M's your national championship. See you all in the next video. I'll give you a clue. It's probably coming tomorrow or Wednesday. See you all later. Goodbye.